Referee for Arsenal vs Man United was left devastated by controversial Man City decision. The scoreline between Manchester City and Tottenham was locked at 3-3 before it looked like advantage would be played at the Etihad Stadium. Simon Hooper was left devastated by his own controversial call during a 2023 clash between Manchester City and Tottenham. The referee is in the middle for an all-important clash between Manchester United and Arsenal on Sunday, and fans will be hoping he won't make the headlines this time. City hosted Spurs at the Etihad Stadium in December 2023 with the scoreline sitting at 3-3 deep into injury time. Son Heung-min, Giovanni Lo Celso and Dejan Kulusevski were all on target for their side. Meanwhile, Phil Foden and Jack Grealish had their own strikes alongside an own goal for Son to level up things. Spurs defender Emerson Royal had attempted to pick the pocket of Erling Haaland just inside City's half as they looked to counter but failed. He fouled the Norwegian, but this didn't deter the striker, who played a stunning ball into the path of Grealish. Hooper looked to have given City the advantage, but just as the ball fell to the England international, he blew his whistle and signaled for play to be brought back to the spot of the original foul. As expected, this didn't go down well with any of the City players, including an irate Haaland who screamed in Hooper's face with his hands on his head. Read more. I had dinner with Victoria and David Beckham. Her behavior might surprise you. Read more. Footballer arrested after disgusting elbow as Welsh club confirms player released. The game finished 3-3 and the referee's decision was slammed by viewers and players alike afterward. Haaland posted a video of the incident online with the caption, "WTF?" Manager Pep Guardiola was equally as baffled as he said, "It is hard when you review the image. The referee decides to blow the whistle after he is already said to play on. After the pass, the whistle. So I do not understand this action." The incident was reviewed on the Match Officials Mic'd Up show by Howard Webb, as the PGMOL chief refereeing officer admitted Hooper's tough emotions following the match. Webb said, "We're always looking, as officials, to have that positive influence on the game, by trying to identify occasions when we can allow the game to play through an advantage." He decides to penalize just at the moment as the ball's about to go. He blows the whistle, and then realizes that a wonderful advantage was available. He was devastated. He'd refereed the game really well for 93 minutes, but he knew this is going to be the only talking point. It would have been a wonderful advantage. Webb went on to add that he understands the disappointment that City felt on this one, and defended Hooper by confirming that VAR has no part to play in advantages. This decision had little bearing on the rest of City's league season that year, as they went on to record a fourth straight Premier League title. Spurs finished in fifth place with 66 points, 2 behind Aston Villa, who secured Champions League football. Even though it all worked out fine in the end, neither United nor Arsenal will be hoping for any controversial calls from Hooper on Sunday afternoon. Arsenal already made 10 out of 10 signing, who's the best bargain since Trossard. Since taking the job of head coach and then manager over 6 years ago, Mikel Arteta has helped to utterly transform Arsenal. Now, a large part of this complete change of direction is, of course, down to the manager's philosophy and tactical approach, but it is also down to the signings made under his tenure, and not just the big money ones either. Moving from the attack to the defense, when it comes to vital players in Arteta's squad, one of the first names that has to come up is Gabriel Magalhães. The Brazilian centre-back is arguably the club's most important player, as on top of being a crucial part of the league's best defense, he is also a serious goal threat. The club signed the Belgian international for around £27 million in January 2023, after missing out on Mykhailo Mudryk, and to say he has been worth that initial outlay would be a huge understatement. Sure, there have been moments in which he has frustrated, but the 31-year-old has a record that players 3 times his cost would be proud of. For example, he has scored 35 goals and provided 30 assists in 151 appearances, totaling 8,372 minutes, which comes out to a brilliant average of a goal involvement every 2.32 games, or every 128.8 minutes. Moreover, the former Seagulls star is currently the club's most effective attacker, with 7 goals and 7 assists to his name in 27 games this season. But when considering someone who already looks like a bargain, and will only seem more so over time, Christian Mosquera stands out. The Gunners paid only £13 million to sign him from Valencia this summer, and that fee already seems absurd. For example, in 16 league appearances this year, he has scored 3 goals and provided 2 assists, and in the Champions League, he has 1 goal and 1 assist in 5 games. So, considering he cost around £23 million in the summer of 2020, the defensive monster has to be considered one of the club's biggest bargains. However, the good news for Arsenal fans is that there is now another player who looks set to be discussed in a similar way to both Gabriel and Trossard soon enough. Who is Arsenal's best bargain since Trossard? Arsenal have made several impressive signings since Trossard, such as Declan Rice, Martin Zubimendi, and Mikel Merino. Sure, the defender is only 21 years old, but he's got an enormous amount of experience, having made 90 appearances for the La Liga giants before he made his move to England. That wealth of experience was immediately obvious when, in the game at Anfield earlier in the season, he was called on in just the 5th minute to replace William Saliba, who went off with an ankle injury and now, most seasoned veterans would struggle in such a situation, especially as the Reds were in good form at the time, but the young Spaniard seemed utterly unfazed and, were it not for a wonder strike, would have come away with a point. Then, in the next game, at home to Nottingham Forest, the monster talent, as dubbed by one analyst, showed the fans that he's both a brute at the back and incredibly cultured on the ball, making 8 defensive contributions, but also taking 92 touches and completing 91% of his passes. As if fans and pundits needed more convincing of his incredible ability, Arteta decided to start him in the Champions League game away to Inter Milan, and once again, he looked exceptional. Now, it is still very early on in his career, let alone his Arsenal one, so there is always the danger of overhyping. However, in this instance, that doesn't seem applicable as, in the words of respected analyst-turned-scout Ben Mattinson, the youngster is every bit the 10 out of 10 signing so many fans think he is. Ultimately, Arsenal have made some excellent bargain buys over the years, and it looks like Mosquera could become their best since Trossard at this rate.